Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and I know what you're gonna say. Where the hell have you been? Just started college, so I've had a ton of busy stuff to do. I've been moving into a new dorm and all this stuff, and stuff I left at home that I couldn't use to record, and so it was all over the place. But I finally got back home, and I'm going to obviously go back to university in like a day or two. I was just staying here for like a day, just to get settled in, kind of just see my family again because it's an extended weekend. And I decided I would go hard and try to record as many videos as possible so I have a lot to record during the school year and a lot to upload during the school year so I don't have to be worrying about that while I'm trying to do work for school, because ultimately that is more important to me. Schoolwork is more important than my YouTube. I literally have 6,000 subs. It's not like I have a million subs. Obviously, if that was the case, I'd be way more focused on YouTube, but because of where I'm at, I mean, I'm really glad it's where I'm at on YouTube. It's an awesome position to be in, but it's not my main source of income. It's not the most important thing to me. So obviously, I gotta take priorities, right? But I still want to do as much as possible, so I'm going to be recording some more of these episodes and some more just other random things here and there, like some COD videos. I've got some stuff planned. I got some more Walking Dead videos planned. A lot of stuff down the pipeline, and of course, Modern Warfare comes out. I'll be doing a lot more with that. But of course, I wasn't even able to play the alpha for the 2v2 gunfight mode, which kind of sucked a little bit. But anyways, today we are doing the Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 7 Telltale TV series adaptation. This is Episode 7, which is titled Rated. So let's get into it. This takes place a week later, a week after the previous episode, and it kind of starts off showing a montage of everyone living in their, rooms at the motor inn. They're doing different things, like Carly's getting out of bed with Jordan, meaning within those 7 days, Carly and Jordan got together. And Carly's getting dressed, ready for the day. Katja is sitting on top of the RV on watch. Clem is reading a book. Duck is throwing rocks at a wall. They're doing kind of boring things because they don't have much to do, right? Lily is sitting in her room all stressed out. Ben and Travis are sitting on couches in the parking lot playing chess. And things are kind of depressing and very quiet. They show Lee and Kenny, who are on a supply run within a little town area with stores and restaurants. They walk down the road. Lee has his Glock and his knife. Kenny has a bolt action sniper rifle, and a machete. They talk about how Duck and Clem are not acting like how they used to before the farm incident. The farm incident did some things to them, and they are different now. They don't act the same. They're not as happy, as excited as they were for little things. It's kind of depressing. Lee says Clem won't even smile anymore, and Duck seems like he just won't. He's not himself. He doesn't laugh or say stupid jokes all the time like he used to. They reach a drugstore. It is completely destroyed in half by a helicopter crash. Lee sees a couple of army men hanging from the blades, and to his surprise, he sees Lance from episode 2 in the cockpit as a walker. He notices it's Lance. He couldn't really tell at first, but he looks closer and sees his lieutenant badge, and Kenny says, "Damn, sucks for that dude." So they come up with a plan to get into that drugstore because they were planning to get into that drugstore to get as much meds and supplies as possible. There's a big semi-truck blocking the road, so they have to climb over it to get to the entrance to the drugstore, or to a back entrance to the drugstore, because the front entrance is completely shut off from the plane crash. And just as they are trying to get over the semi-truck, they hear screaming coming from across the street corner. While they're doing this, they talk about leaving or staying at the motor inn, and Kenny says he's got the RV running, so now they have to leave or whether or not the others want to come, they're gonna leave. He says they will not leave if they have to leave the others behind, they will. He brings up Clem getting closure to her parents and finally getting on that damn boat and heading out to the coast. Lee agrees, but says they need to make sure it's safe out there. So that scream comes again as they notice a girl coming running from across the corner. She's running from a group of walkers, and she's clearly been bitten a few times. She's even gotten bitten again right in front of them. Lee says they should just put her out of her misery, but Kenny tells him to hold off and says that, well, she's being eaten by walkers right now. That gives them time to get in the store faster without having to deal with the mini herd. Lee realizes he's right, but he thinks it's the most messed up thing they can do, and he decides, no, we should just put her out of her misery. And Kenny keeps fighting him off, saying, you have to realize that we have to do hard things like this, even though the right thing is not always the right thing is not always the most moral thing to do. Kenny tries to make that point. It's something that they just have to do. Lee ends up agreeing as they bust open the drug room from the drugstore, and sirens start to go off, which attracts the herd. Lee and Kenny continue filling their bags with the meds. The walkers start busting through the different doors and different entrances of the drugstore, and they are in a hurry now. Kenny shoves shelves and tables in front of the door to try to give them, some time, as Lee tries to burst open another back door, which is the only way they can go. The walkers get through the windows, so Kenny takes out his machete and starts slicing the walkers into pieces. Lee gets the door open just as two walkers stand on the other side and attack him. Lee's able to push one of them back with his foot and stab the other walker with his knife. He then stabs the other walker in the head. Kenny comes running with Lee as they get away. They make it back to the motor inn and hand the meds to Lily in her room. Carly and Jordan are eating breakfast together as they see them chatting. Lily and Kenny get into an argument about staying or leaving the motor inn. Kenny brings up the fact that they left a girl to die to get the supplies, and he doesn't see anyone else doing this type of shit out there. Lily brings up that she's noticing a ton of their supplies is missing and that someone is probably stealing them from this group. She shows them the supply of meds and food that she holds for everyone, and that a ton of shit is missing. Lee follows up that conversation and goes to talk to Lily on his own. Lily says that he's the only one she trusts around here. She starts thinking about who from the group could be taking the supplies. Lee suggests maybe she's just misplacing them or losing them, but Lily says there's no way that's possible. She tells Lee to look around because they can't be losing this much supplies. She specifically points out she thinks it's the students, or maybe even Kenny, since he's been planning on leaving. Maybe he's keeping a stash to go. Lee leaves the room and looks at everyone. Ben and Travis are having a conversation while kicking a ball against the wall. Clem and Duck are relaxing on the couches. Kenny and Katja are laying with each other on the couch. And so Lee decides to go to talk to Jordan and Carly in their room. Jordan tells Lee he's headed out. Lee asks him where, and he says just to explore, maybe find some supplies. And Lee tells him about what Lily was saying and that he needs to help finding out where the hell the supplies is going. Carly says that Lily is just pointing fingers, and that's probably her just stashing it away and blaming others to excuse herself. Jordan heads out and says he'll help them when he gets back. Carly and Lee have a talk after Jordan leaves. Carly tells Lee he should tell people about his past being a murderer. Lee says he isn't really comfortable with doing that right now. She says since Larry knew, most likely Lily knows too, and Lee says, yeah, he knows that 100% now because Lily told him in episode 5. Carly says that it's even more reason for him to tell others because it'll be much easier on them if they hear it from you rather than from her. Lee says that he will, but when he's ready. He walks out of the room and starts asking around to everyone. Jordan goes walking down the road and makes it to a little neighborhood of houses. He goes to one house in particular and goes in. He looks around the house and takes it all in. We can presume it's his past home as a child. He goes into his room and looks at all his action figures and basketball trophies. He ends up tearing up a little bit. And then he looks at a family photo of him, his brother, and his parents. He leaves and heads back home after killing a walker that approaches the house with an axe. Back at the motor inn, Lee asks Clem and Duck about the missing supplies. Clem is reluctant to talk to Lee at all and is kind of afraid of him almost. Lee tries to explain to her why he did what he did back at the farm. Clem says her parents would never steal or kill. She asks when they can go look for them. Lee decides to tell Clem what he heard on the phone at her house. He says it sounded like they were in trouble. Clem gets mad at him for not telling her sooner, and Lee apologizes as she walks away. Duck asks Lee why those people were eating humans, and this is one of the first things Duck said in about a week. Lee tells him they were sick in the head and says it's one of the things this world is doing to people. Lee then goes over to Kenny and Katja and asks them about the stolen supplies. Kenny says he has no idea and that it's probably Lily being a fucking idiot. Katja asks Lee what Duck said to him over there, and Lee explains what he said and what his response was. Katja says he's the first person that Duck even talked to in a week. Finally, Lee goes over to head to Ben and Travis, and asks them about the supplies. They answer saying they have no idea. Ben changes the subject, asking Lee if they want them to do more watches since they enjoy doing it. Lee says if they want to, then yeah, of course. Jordan heads back home and sees an X on a tree marked with pink chalk. He looks over and finds a crate of supplies hidden behind a little tree stump. Jordan brings it back to the motor inn to Lily as Lee comes in to check it out. Jordan explains the scenery in the woods and the fact that there was an X with pink chalk on it in the tree. Lily says they gotta line everyone up and question them right the fuck now. Ben and Travis continue a conversation near the RV. They are talking about some girl they used to hang out with in high school. Travis makes fun of Ben for never getting with that one girl named Brianna who he was always drooling over. And out of absolutely nowhere, Travis's talk is interrupted by a bullet traveling from a sniper rifle right into Travis's skull. Travis's body falls into Ben's arms as it's revealed that the bullet came from a bandit within the trees with a sniper rifle. Gary comes running from the woods with his group of bandits. They push open the gate of the motor inn and start shooting up the windows of the motor inn with AK-47s and pistols. Lee, Lily, and Jordan hit the deck as Katja, Duck, and Clem hide behind a couch in the parking lot. Kenny stays hidden behind the RV as he sees Ben crying next to Travis's dead body behind a fallen table. One of the bandits yells out for the people to show themselves so they can make this easier than it has to be. Most of the bandits stay behind cover as 3 of them, including Gary and 2 others named Paul and Arian. Paul stays in the forefront. Lily tells Lee and Jordan to go out and make sure they don't fire a single bullet as she grabs her sniper rifle and goes out the back window of the motel room. Lee goes outside with his hands up as Jordan slowly gets behind cover with Kenny behind the RV. Kenny crawls through the RV to try and get to the front and tells Jordan that he's going to turn the RV on so he can slowly move it back towards Katja, Duck, and Clem behind the couch so they can continue to stay behind cover as they all get behind and get into the RV so they can leave. He waits to do it, though. He doesn't do it right away. Lee tells the bandits to calm down, and he asks what they want. Paul says they didn't receive their last package of supplies. Lee says he doesn't know what he's talking about. Paul shoots the gun right at Lee's feet and says not to fuck with him and that he wants his supplies or they'll kill someone else. Lee says he will, but if he keeps killing them, they'll have less people to go out and get supplies for them. Arian says he ain't wrong about that. Kenny gets the keys into the RV and turns it on, just as Lily shoots Paul in the face with her sniper. Gary and Arian get behind cover as Lee takes out his Glock and starts shooting while getting behind the RV as well. Kenny takes the RV out of park and starts slowly moving it forward to Katja, Duck, and Clem from behind the couch, as he yells out for Lee to tell him when to hit the brake, because Kenny's literally on the floor of the RV. He's not, sitting in it because he doesn't want to get shot from the windows. The bandits start lighting up the RV with their pistols. They mainly have pistols. A couple of the guys have AK-47s. Most of them have crossbows and bows and arrows. Not really much advanced weaponry or anything like that. Lily loads another shot into her rifle and fires a bandit from the tree, which kills him. Gary calls for the bandits to start pushing as Jordan fires at them and holds them back for a bit. Kenny also helps out. The RV reaches the couch that Katja, Duck, and Clem hide behind, so Lee yells at Kenny to break the damn RV. They all come running to the RV as Kenny tells them to stay on the ground of the RV as bullets keep flying through the RV. Kenny says they can go now, but Lee yells at him and says they have to wait for Ben and Lily, which are kind of further back a little bit. He tells them to put it in reverse so they can bring the RV the other way, the other direction, to get Ben. They do the same thing where Kenny is on the floor, kind of slowly controlling the RV, as Lee is outside of the RV on other side of it, waiting to tell him when to brake. The bandits stop firing for a bit as they hear walkers coming from the woods. They forcefully fight the walkers off while Gary tells the others to retreat. Gary fires the AK-47 at Lily, but she gets behind cover. Jordan fires his Glock at one guy firing at the RV, and he hits him right in the head. The other bandits make it away while killing a few walkers. The RV makes it to the table that Ben is hiding, so Kenny obviously breaks the damn car as walkers come through the gates and head through the Motor Inn parking lot towards the RV. Ben says he can't just leave Travis's dead body here, and Kenny says we ain't driving with a goddamn dead body. Ben says just screw it and runs into the RV, leaving Travis's dead body on the floor. But the RV's engine shuts off. Kenny notices leaking valves from the bottom of the RV from the gunfire. Lee and Jordan grab all their supplies and such and bring it to the RV as Kenny tries to fix the broken valve with duct tape. Lily hops down and starts killing walkers with her machete. Lee and Jordan help killing the walkers to keep them away from Kenny, who is fixing the RV. Kenny tells Katja to try starting up the RV after he clogs up the valve. The RV turns on as Lily, Lee, Kenny, and Jordan run straight into it as the walkers approach it. Kenny drives off with an overhead shot of the Motor Inn filling up with walkers. They have gotten out safe and sound, but of course the Motor Inn is screwed. They are now all in the RV with some of their supplies. They left some stuff behind, most of the weapons, and they are now back on the road. Bandits are still out there, but they did kill a decent amount of them in this little shootout. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.